and gentle frogs. um, Today I want to talk to you guys about coping skills in daily life. So imagine you're at work and your coworkers engage in petty squabbles over the water cooler as you're trying to get through with your work. You hear fluorescent lights kick in, they're buzzing, the air conditioner is making a weird, strange noise as it kicks in, but the air isn't working nearly enough as it should because you're sweating your pants off. And speaking of pants, the tag in the back keeps poking you annoyingly on your lower back. Small things, all of these minor and a daily occurrence, but they build up. They build up inside of you, that annoyance, that aggravation, until you feel another thing, overwhelmed. You're overwhelmed because, try as you might, you can't work past these minor annoyances, and they feel extremely large, and they feel so humongous to you. So you yell at your coworkers, you snap at your boss for the lights and the air conditioning because you know they can fix it, and the minute you get home, you throw those horrendous work pants away. You see, although one could overall be mentally well, small things build up over time. In the above example, we saw how the person handled their inner conflicts. They yelled at their coworkers and their boss alike and walked out of their job. Could there have been a better way to cope with these minor things that led to major conflicts? The truth is that the fictional person in this example isn't the only one that struggled with their emotions and how to cope with them. In fact, based on my own unpublished research at my previous job as a certified peer specialist, many people, youth and young adults alike, either lack coping skills or hold negative coping skills. The full study included 30 parents, guardians, divided into 6 groups of 5, which I have an illustration here. So on estimate, 3 of 5 guardians, which would be the colored ones, the colored guardians, 3 of 5 guardians of youth in services in each group did not have positive coping skills of their own. With this being said, out of those 3 that said they did not have positive coping skills, 1 did not have any coping skills. So the ones that didn't have any coping skills are pink, and the ones that did have coping skills, though negative, are blue. The ones that did have positive were white. So due to this factor, amongst a few others, these families sought therapy, and therapy assisted them greatly. You see, therapy for the people involved is a form of learning, finding a way to reverse those unhealthy coping skills, for example, self-harm, into healthy coping skills, perhaps like crocheting, was beneficial to both the individual and their families. But how is therapy the solution? I held an informal interview with a licensed family therapist that stated, quote, "Therapy can be a great tool in realizing how you cope with situations and handle conflict," end quote. Going back to our example in the introduction, therapy could have taught the individual that instead of yelling at their coworkers, they may have mitigated their own symptoms or, kind of made them smaller. They could have made their symptoms smaller they could have made their symptoms of being overwhelmed smaller by taking or asking for a small break, perhaps by breathing in and out deeply, and if allowed, noise cancellation, headphones or earbuds, especially if it's like reasonable accommodation for, actually having a disability. So, do you remember where I said that therapy helps one handle conflict, and I gave you an example of how it's a solution? I'll tell you why it works. So, Margaret Andrews, a former associate dean for Harvard's Continuing Education Division, states on her blog, "How to Improve Your Emotional Intelligence," quote, If you're aware of your own emotions and the behaviors they trigger, you can begin to manage these emotions and behaviors. She also writes, quote, our emotions impact our mood, behaviors, performance, and interactions with other people. You see, therapy can help us solve outer conflicts by realizing the why and the emotions within the people inside the conflict. This works because you have a trained professional in the room with you who is an outsider to your life that could point out things that you never thought of or noticed. Most of these challenges in the above example could be resolved through taking a lunch break or asking the boss for a small break and advocating for one's needs. So by the person in our introduction learning how to advocate for themselves and their emotions, they are also learning how to cope with their needs and handle their inner conflicts. Likewise, when they learn how to cope with their emotions and challenges, they treat others differently. So by learning positive coping skills, people learn how to handle those emotions and challenges with other people in ways that are healthy. As I wrap this speech up, I want to let you all know this. I speak from personal experience. I learned a lot of this in a difficult way of trial and error, quite literally. It's definitely not something I want others to go through when they've reached some type of breaking point, because it is difficult to navigate on your own. So I implore everyone here to take some time and seek a therapist to assist them with small things that impact their everyday life, even if you feel it's insignificant. Because at the end of the day, this is your daily life. And if your daily life is anything similar to the person in the introduction, then you're probably going to need some assistance with that.